A playlist original.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Back to the Blockbuster with your hosts, Gaius and Jackson. We've got a pre-packed news episode for you guys. I've been doing a lot of anniversary episodes in the month of March, and for that reason, we've got a lot of stuff that came out over the last couple of weeks that we're excited to jump into today. A lot of trailers to break down in this episode. So for those of you that might not have seen some of the trailers we're talking about today, we're going to give you our first thoughts on them. Definitely encourage you guys to go check them out because it is going to be a stacked rest of the year in terms of movies. We got some first looks at a lot of great stuff and some other looks at stuff that we already had earlier trailers for, and it's really exciting. And some other news on top of that too, but really excited to get into it. I know, Gaius, this isn't the first thing that we have written down. I'm kind of cheating on our order, but it would be out of character for me not to be the most excited about the Alien Romulus trailer. So I wanted to get into that one first. Finally got our first look at the next Alien property. It's been 7 years since we got treated to Alien Covenant back in 2017. And now we have our first teaser for Alien Romulus. What did you think of that minute-long trailer?
I thought it was really good, and I'm glad it was short and sweet, and it looks very reminiscent of like the original Alien. Like it has that kind of style and vibe to it, which I'm excited about.
Definitely.
I think it was a good job getting Fede Alvarez to direct it. It seems like
he's great at that tight-knit, close quarters horror. So couldn't find a better Alien director other than maybe Neil Blomkamp, who famously had an Alien movie.
Who tried.
Just didn't get off the ground, but I think Fede Alvarez is a great choice.
Yeah, I think so too. And I love that it just looks creepy and claustrophobic. I heard he got the seal of approval from Ridley Scott and James Cameron, who I guess have seen either some cut of it already and or whatever, and they like what they saw. And I know there's some cynical people online that are like, well, they always say that, and like it may not turn out because someone said James Cameron said that about the last few Terminator movies.
Yeah,
and I was like,
but Ridley is I think notoriously shy with his praise, especially on movies that he helped to create. So I trust Ridley's opinion more. But I don't think really them either have any. I mean, well, Ridley's a producer too, so that also he kind of has an incentive to. But this was like this is just Fede Alvarez like sharing a private conversation he had with Ridley that Ridley gave him the thumbs up. So I kind of trust that. If it was Ridley kind of coming out on his own saying it, I'd be like, okay, well, you're a producer, you have a dog in the fight to help
you're like
promote the movie, but that didn't seem to be the case. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Also, I think so. Not gonna lie, I had my reservations. Like I was on paper super down for this movie. I love Alien for all its flaws, but it's being made by under the Disney umbrella with is it Fox?
Oh, 20th Century.
20th Century. Right. I can never remember how it's phrased now, but so 20th Century is under the Disney banner as of a couple of years ago, and so that kind of gave me reservations. But seeing what we saw now, and Fede Alvarez has also come out and said that where possible, they've made everything like effects wise, they've done everything practically, and it really looks like that's the case. Couldn't be happier with that news. And so now like the overwhelming excitement for me is definitely here too. And I've seen lots of comments, like positive comments in like the comment section of the videos on YouTube and whatnot of the trailer, which also was great.
Yeah, it seems like everyone seems to like it. I mean, there was a lot of little things. It just looks creepy and frightening. And then they had that one moment with like it looks like the multiple like face huggers like, hopping around. Like that looks pretty creepy.
They look OP in this.
I know. And then like the actress, I guess there's two actresses, Isabella Merced and the Kaylee Sweeney. She was in Priscilla, right? If I'm correct.
Yes, and she's coming out in Civil War next month as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I just got my screening for that.
Oh man, cannot wait for that's my next big exciting movie. I can't wait to see.
Yeah. Off topic for a second. But they both have said how scary and like how this goes for the jugular it is. So, and I know they're in it and they probably need to say it, but I don't know. I actually buy what they're kind of putting out there, and judging from the trailer, again, I wish people would make trailers as short and sweet. And,
perfect.
Because there's another trailer later on here. While good is 3 minutes and 5 seconds, it has no reason to be that long. And like this was the perfect teaser for it, and I'm excited for it. I know I had some people that said that messaged on like MovieWeb and a few other places that were like, they were nervous about the August release date because they're like, oh, that feels like it's kind of getting dumped at the end of the summer.
It does,
but
doesn't it?
I don't really think that's the case here. I mean, I heard this was supposed to be like a Hulu exclusive at first, and then they changed course at some point. And I think in that changing of the course, like this probably was the best spot to put it.
Well, yeah. Do you think that once that decision was made that, oh, we actually think this would do good in theaters, like a lot of those summer like release dates were probably already eaten up, and like August was the next. Okay, that gives me hope too, because the August, not known for being a great release month for movies. A lot of shit dumped out that month, but regardless, like I already have the bias going into this movie. I am an Alien Covenant apologist for all that movie's flaws. I love it. Cannot wait to see it again. I've seen it. Probably one of the movies I've seen the most too, like up there for sure. So I definitely will give, even if, Romulus isn't everything I hope it is, I'm sure I'm going to like it more than most. I just feel that type of way with the Alien series, but couldn't be more pumped at this point. And for those that are familiar with or aren't as familiar with Fede Alvarez, highly recommend you check out his 2013 Evil Dead reboot. We've talked about that movie and that director on this show a few times. And then his 2016 feature Don't Breathe is also great. I feel like Don't Breathe is kind of going to be like his version of Alien. Like it's going to be like Don't Breathe meets Alien in space. Like feels like very much, very claustrophobic, haunted house. Well, not haunted, but like close quarters.
Yeah, close quarters.
Exactly. Claustrophobic horror is exactly. Yeah. So yeah, definitely recommend him.
Someone who clearly worked on the movie, I wish I could remember his name. It was on X, but he was very excited that the trailer generated all this interest, not just in like the Alien franchise in general, but and I noticed this too. There were a lot of posts in particular about Prometheus and Alien Covenant where people were like reevaluating those two movies. Either they had just watched the trailer and went back and watched clips of those two movies, or even watched the movies as a whole. And we're like, some people were posting like, it's time that we admit that these two movies were great. And they were like, hey, we get you to reevaluate those two because they think they were like underrated in the
I certainly think so. Yeah.
Alien pantheon of movies. And I know like it was funny because they're kind of a product of each other, because Prometheus was like the introspective, very like cerebral sci-fi movie, and then people were like, well, that was boring. Where are the xenomorphs? And then what they did with Alien Covenant was gave you more of the latter, and they were like, well, that was too much and there was no story. So like there was all this, you can't please everybody, but I think they were both good in their own right. I prefer Prometheus, but that being said, I haven't watched Alien Covenant in a while, and I probably will watch it again
in anticipation for this.
Yeah, it's been a bit. I recently watched Prometheus because we deep dived it, but I do need to watch Covenant again because it's been a while.
Yes, you do. I mean, I've seen Covenant enough times. I know that movie in and out. I saw Prometheus in the last couple of years, so I don't have the itch to rewatch. And it also, to me, like I know it's in the Alien universe, but to me, it just doesn't seem like the Alien movie to rewatch unless you're, because this isn't going to be a sequel to Prometheus. Or I guess technically, like in the universe it is, but it doesn't feel really like that close to Prometheus. So I just don't feel compelled to see it for Romulus. But I know, I mean, spoiler, Alien turns, is it 45 this year?
It's in June.
I have a feeling we might cover that movie, and then it would only make sense to watch Aliens if we do watch Alien in June. I think I'll watch Alien and Aliens, and then while I'm that far in, I haven't seen 3 and 4 since like childhood, so I might just squeeze those in too before.
Yeah, August. Man, you got people reevaluating 3, not as much as Prometheus and Covenant, but I saw some posts about that. I haven't watched that movie in forever either. I know even David Fincher hates it because he
disowns it, right?
Yeah, he hasn't even counted it as like, I think like his first feature film, really, because like the studio like.
I don't even consider it really his. Like I never really associate David Fincher, and I'm never thinking about Alien 3 other than like I know he technically made the movie, but like I'm with him. Like it doesn't feel like a Fincher movie. Like definitely studio meddling.
Well, What's crazy though is even though people don't like it, it probably has one of the most memorable images from the franchise. You have like Sigourney Weaver like laying up against the wall and like Xenomorph's like right in her face. It's like right in her face. So like it has like they used to use that like clip a lot. Like you could be watching like old like DVDs and stuff, and they were like promoting whatever movies that were on their catalog, and that was like the image that they would.
You're so right.
Use. But the movie itself, gets ripped apart. But maybe it might be a good year to go back and watch some of these. I certainly haven't watched the third one in forever, and even longer for Resurrection. I don't even remember anything about it. So
I don't remember anything about either of them really, other than what is it? The third one that takes place on like a prison.
I believe so, and I'm trying to read the fourth one. I feel so similar.
Winona Ryder's in it. I know
Winona
that.
Ryder's in the Winona's in the fourth one. Yeah.
There's Ripley clones.
Yeah. So I probably will check the third one out at least of those, because I've seen the first and Aliens a lot. But if we do cover Alien for June anniversary, so I'm sure we probably will, then I will be watching that one too. And in case everyone doesn't know, this new one is set between the events of Alien and Aliens. And the story sees a group of young people on a distant world who find themselves in a confrontation with the most terrifying life form in the universe. And this opens on August 16th, but I wouldn't let the August release date scare you. Like we said, it kind of just feels like there was no other space to put it in.
I will be there opening night.
Yep, I will too.
Nice.
It looks pretty amazing.
Hopefully in a few months' time we'll be chatting about how much we loved it on the show. Cannot wait for that.
Definitely.
What is actually our first trailer that we were hoping to
the actual first trailer was for Furiosa, which is Mad Max Saga. Furiosa Mad Max Saga, which is a prequel / spinoff to Mad Max Fury Road. We have talked about this. Well, when we talked about the teaser trailer before, I had mentioned that Mad Max Fury Road is a movie I need to rewatch again, because everyone loves it and I don't recall loving it. I mean,
really?
I liked it. I enjoyed it when I watched it.
Man, that movie's a lot of fun.
But I have friends that like die on the hill of it being like one of the greatest things ever made. And like I just think I need to watch it again. And
I will be definitely watching it in anticipation for Furiosa.
For this.
Yeah.
This new trailer though, I actually thought was better than the teaser that we got before. Even though it's longer, I'm glad that we got to see a lot more of her in action, and also got to see kind of what she, as we met her in Fury Road, the look that Charlize Theron has. We get a glimpse of that in this trailer towards the end with Anya Taylor-Joy, and she seems like a badass. It doesn't even like sound like her in parts of the. I don't know. Anya Taylor-Joy is like a chameleon of an actress, man.
Yeah,
she's really special. Good, and she looks like she owns this part. And for everyone that was like, oh, why did they just DH Charlize Theron? She could have done it. I know a lot of people. There are some people that still stand by that, but I think this character is in great hands with her. Also, I can't wait to watch Chris Hemsworth in this, because my favorite Chris Hemsworth is a unhinged Chris Hemsworth.
He looks awesome in this,
and he looks like he's on that level in this. And I know there's complaints from that first trailer about the look of it feeling too like CGI and not practical compared to Fury Road. And I don't know. I mean, I
don't get it. I don't see it. I
don't see it either. And honestly, even fans of Fury Road were like, "Hey, like I love that movie, but there's definitely shots in it that we know were enhanced,
no doubt,
in one way or the other." So, but some people were saying that there's too many shots of it, especially in the last trailer. But I didn't really pick up on that too much in this one.
I didn't really get much either. Like this series, the latter at least, because obviously the originals are pretty grounded in practical effects, but the George Miller's most recent, like Fury Road and Furiosa, are the perfect blends of practical and CGI effects, like better than most other movies being made today. I would say they are flawless in their effects, and definitely the highlight of those movies. So this looks no different.
Yeah, I agree. And it looks, I don't know, I actually think it looks actually a lot of fun, and it looks like it's going to be action packed. And I actually, again, blown away by Anya Taylor-Joy, who again surprises me in everything that she's in. She's completely versatile, and like, yeah, it's great.
This was on my list of most anticipated of the year. I can't remember if it was on yours or not.
It was not.
This is what I've been looking forward to a long time.
Only because like I feel like I do need to watch Fury Road again. And you know what's funny, as I've been saying this, there's another this guy David, who he's part of the Cinematic Reel. He had a show called Real Talk. I used to write for their website. I was saying that back then because they loved that movie, and I still hadn't rewatched it since then. And that was like years ago.
So have you only seen it one time in 2016 or whatever?
Yeah, only seen it one time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
yeah.
Also,
so kind of my fault.
Definitely rewatch it. I mean, you have till May 24th before
Yeah.
Furiosa debuts in theaters to rewatch it. That might be something we watch around the same time. I'm sure if you get to it before me, I will probably watch it right after you because that release is imminent. It comes out in just shy of 2 months, so very looking forward to that. And what else was I going to say? But why did it take 9 years for a sequel? Or I mean, another movie in the Fury Road saga? Like it won 6 huge Oscars. Like it was like it was so popular. I don't know why it took them so long to make another.
And then that year, it technically, I guess it did win. It won the most Oscars that night, even though they were all technical. But I don't know. I mean, it probably just a process to make. And I mean, I don't know if you ever read stories or there's like a book out about how the Fury Road was a very like tumultuous like filming experience for
no doubt
pretty much everyone involved. I know Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy didn't get along well when they made it. They got along better afterwards. They talked after, and but it was more of like a kind of a buddy. I mean, they were filming and like they said some pretty awful conditions when they made it, and there were just a lot of tensions. And like he has his acting style, she has hers.
Right.
It was a combination, and then they're both playing these really strong characters, and it was a lot. It turned into like a weird pissing contest between the two of them, and then all the other actors kind of in the middle, trying to like not get on anyone's
Nicholas Hoult side. Like early role for him, he's great in it. Yeah.
But probably just a process in making it, and they also probably wanted to get it right. I guess
for sure.
Too.
Yeah, this
I think there was a huge debate about whether to bring Charlize Theron back too. I think that was a long, what I read is that he felt if the de-aging technology was at the top of its game, he probably would have brought her back. But he said that there's still flaws in it, and I actually don't disagree with him. I think some of it looks really good, and some of it looks pretty bad when they use it.
Yeah, it's hit or miss at least for sure. And but honestly, for the story they're telling with like a young Furiosa and her battle to get back home, I think it makes sense to cast a younger actress, and I think Anya Taylor-Joy is phenomenal, great casting choice. So I'm all for it. I think Charlize could have done it. Maybe if the movie was made a little bit sooner after the release of Fury Road, and I would love to see Charlize Theron back in the role for sequels, but I can't wait to see what we get. Everyone looks fantastic in this movie, and I am thoroughly pumped for it.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah,
now I'll finally watch Mad Max Fury Road.
Yes, do it.
It is one of those where they're like, dude, you only watched it once. I'm like, yeah, I only watched it once. I don't know. So I feel like I can't even like judge it correctly.
Next year's 10 might be a good anniversary episode in the future.
That movie is like, I can't believe that's 10 years old.
Me either.
All right, what do we got next?
Next, we've got. I only had my first look at this trailer today. It's a Canadian production called In a Violent Nature, which looks great, and it's like I guess the little premise on IMDb here it says it's an ambient horror slasher that methodically depicts the enigmatic resurrection, rampage, and retribution of an undead monster in a remote wilderness, which to me sounds a lot, and I said this offline, very much like Friday the 13th. It has that feel to it, but this trailer was awesome. It wasn't too long, and it follows like the killer from like kind of his point of view throughout the trailer. It was a really, really well-crafted trailer and a Canadian production, directed and written by Mr. Chris Nash, who I've never looked at his profile before, but I'm about to. I don't recognize him.
I just went on Wikipedia and he doesn't even have like a hyperlink, so I don't know how much he's done.
He's okay, so he's worked on special effects before, and has some writing credits too. He actually looks like he worked on The Void from 2016, which I actually saw a few months ago for the first time, and he does have some directing credits to his name and some writing credits. But none that I'm really familiar with other than a segment from the ABCs of Death 2, which I did watch on Netflix way back in the day.
Nice.
Yeah, but I was very excited for this.
It looks really good. I was reading, they said that he drew inspiration from the style of like a few Gus Van Sant movies, Jerry, Elephant, which I have seen, and Last Days, which Nash described as slower, more methodical, more deliberate, and follow characters through a scene type of movies. Elephant is really like that. Elephant was kind of loosely based on like the Columbine high school shooting,
Okay.
But the movie follows like students throughout the day, and it really is a slow movie. It really, like, when you're watching it, you're like, where you know where it's going if you know what it's about, but you kind of forget when you're watching it because you're really just watching characters go through their day until the last 10 minutes or so when things go like crazy. And I guess like that makes sense for that kind of movie because that's kind of like what a day like that would be. Like a
Right.
normal day for you would be really normal, and then it turned into chaos. So like I get what he's trying to do. And they said that he emphasized long static long take shots, and it features no musical score. So it's all like ambient, like all like just
I was
sound
kind of wondering
design
what
and
they
all
meant
that too.
by ambient, but that makes sense. This is more like natural sounds and everything.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that sounds interesting. And it premiered at I think Sundance. I want to make sure. Uh Yeah, during their midnight program, and it already has a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes with 27 reviews counted.
Let's go, Chris
Um,
Nash.
so it looks good. I think like I think I said by way of A24. Someone did mention that it looks like a Friday the 13th movie if A24 made it,
Yeah,
and like
it
that.
very much does, doesn't it?
And it looks interesting, and I mean I feel like it's going to be one of those movies though that like casual people won't love it because critics love it. And then like
Yeah.
people that, because that happens sometimes with horror movies that get really good reviews.
Yep.
But
And then a casual audience member might seek it out. I feel like otherwise it wouldn't really be. I don't know how accessible this movie is going to be where it's premiering. I know it's coming out in theaters, but like this kind of seems like a limited release sort of pitch to me.
yeah,
So I don't know. I feel
they're
like
doing
they might
it
be
kind
going
of
either way.
similar like they do it with like Late Night with the Devil, which had like a pretty small release, and then it's going to go to Shutter, and they're doing the same thing
Right.
with this. Like this is going to be out May 31st. I'm assuming limited, and then it's going to be on Shutter streaming service later this year. There are like
Okay.
no recognizable stars in this that I can think of. Like, yeah, this is all just, which is kind of nice to not have anyone familiar in it. That it just
Mm-hmm.
you're just immersed in the concept and what he's trying to do. And I really like the teaser trailer I saw. This trailer wasn't even that long either. This was the official trailer, and it was still short
Yeah.
enough to.
Perfect. Doesn't give too much away. Not much
Yeah,
in the way of plot is touched on in the trailer, which is great. We just are following this guy as he kind of stumbles across some victims, and he's got a pretty unique looking weapon. Some um, early reactions. I saw some quotes from IMDb here saying "kill of the year." So I'm really excited to see what this
Ooh.
new. Maybe we'll be treated to sort of a new iconic horror villain.
Maybe so. He's
Yeah.
gonna be. He can join the ranks with all the good ones. So yeah, I'm
And you said
excited
this
for
is
that.
May 1st, eh?
May 31st. Yeah.
Nice. Sweet.
And I guess up next we got the Beetlejuice sequel, Beetlejuice. Another short teaser trailer. You just
Yes.
watched it before we hopped on.
Yes, I did.
Because it was short enough for you to just watch it before we hopped on. Not a lot I can really say, except I love that it was short and sweet, and I think it sets up the vibe and look and feel, and everyone looks great.
Yeah, it feels like we're hauled right back into that universe,
Verse, yeah,
that story for sure. Michael Keaton
yeah,
looks great all up in his makeup, looking as Beetlejuice. I think the title of this movie is pretty slick too. Instead of like, I know it's also Beetlejuice 2, but
yeah.
Beetlejuice, like, kind of a spin on the, if you say his name 3 times, he
Yeah.
appears, like kind of cool. I think that's
I
slick.
like that too.
Yeah.
He looks great. Winona Ryder looks great. Like, she's back as Lydia. She looks amazing. Still, Catherine O'Hara, she's in the trailer. When they're all standing in a row, it looks like they're at a funeral.
Right.
Justin Theroux is also in that shot. He's in the movie too. Monica
Okay.
Bellucci's in this. I had no idea that Monica Bellucci is dating
Whoa.
or she's with Tim Burton. I don't know if they're married, but they've been dating for a while, and I had no idea.
Oh,
Tim
okay.
Burton's really good at snagging beautiful women somehow, but he
I
does.
guess so.
And Willem Dafoe is also in this, and in true, because she feels very Lydia-esque. Jenna Ortega is also, I guess, the new kind of like female star in the movie. I think it's going to be an ensemble, but it seems like it's kind of built around Lydia's daughter. She's playing Lydia's daughter in this.
Okay.
Yeah,
The cast
not
is
much.
crazy.
Yeah, not much in the way of like plot details and stuff, but it looks good. I love the look, and I love the the use of the song in the trailer too, because it harkens back to the movie a bit, which is nice. And
does it? I wasn't crazy on the song choice, but I was like,
oh,
where?
because
I know it, but what's it from?
It's in the movie. They do it in the movie.
Okay.
They actually do.
First?
They actually, yeah, they do it in the first movie.
Okay,
so that was
then that
cool.
makes sense. But I thought it felt kind of out of place, but obviously I wasn't picking up on the reference, so that makes more sense.
But yeah, I think it looks. I mean, just as a first look, I think it's great. And again,
yeah, me too.
We only need like one more now. If you want to give us another trailer, just give us a little bit of what the story is about, and that will do it. I don't need any more.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm trying to find out the release date for this because September 6th. But
yeah,
there's that promo shot of someone like holding the. I don't know what that's supposed to be. They're holding some numbers.
Oh yeah, it's
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it says 9. Oh, it says 9/6/24. It's like it's in green. They just highlight it.
Yeah, so the one I'm looking at on IMDb says 11/09/24.
Oh,
not September 6th. I don't know what that's about because that's different than what IMDb is showing. But anyway, IMDb saying September 6th. So
yeah, September 6th.
That. Yeah.
So yeah, it looks. Yeah, I think it looks good.
Interesting little career moment for Michael Keaton, who just came back as Batman last year from his 89.
I know, and that didn't go the way we needed it to. So I was like,
no, but now he's back as another 80s role, reprising that, which is just kind of funny that so close together he's reprising two of his most iconic roles from the 80s.
So it's like, let's try that again.
Yeah. But I'm very excited to see him in this. He's still like top tier to me. I love Michael Keaton.
He's in his 70s now, which is like crazy to me.
Yeah. Timmy Burton be up there too.
Yeah, I know. Like they don't feel like some people just feel like they can't get old.
No.
and Batman should not get old.
Definitely.
All right, what we got next?
Up next, we got our first look at the Penguin, and I was thinking, so fans of Matt Reeves' Batman from 2022 are definitely disappointed right now. I think it was last week we broke the news that it got an entire year delay, but rejoice because to bridge that gap, we do have an HBO series coming out that's still set in that Batman universe of Matt Reeves' Batman universe, and it's the Penguin, centering on Colin Farrell's crime boss and his rise to power in a post-flooded Gotham. So we got our first look at that. It wasn't too long of a trailer. Thought it was really cool how it's like giving us some images and looks at what's going on after the events of the first film. It's narrated by Colin Farrell, telling a story of a gangster that inspired him when he was growing up in Gotham. So I really thought it was a clever trailer. And that is, I'm not sure when that's coming out, but it definitely
it just says late. It just says late 2024, right. So it doesn't even have an official date yet.
That's why I couldn't think of it.
But that's a little bridge until you get to Batman. I
feel better about that now that we at least have something else, related to that content coming out.
I'm just hoping it's like a hardcore like crime thriller. That's the vibe it's giving off.
Any idea how many episodes are going for? Or?
I can look at it for you right now. I wanted to say there were 8 because I think it had like a whole limited series vibe going on.
I hope that's kind of what it is,
because it should be not that much. I want to see right now. Let me see if I can find it. And also too, I didn't realize this was going to take place 1 week after the events of the Batman. So it was like really, it's really quick.
I didn't know that either. Okay.
So that's pretty quick as well. And there's also rumors, I don't know for sure or not. I know when they were going into production, they were trying to figure out if Robert Pattinson was going to be on the show in some capacity as Batman.
Okay.
I don't know. Would you want that, or would that be distracting, or would there be a good bridge between the two?
Yeah, I would take it. I'd say I don't want, I want it to be the Penguin's show, but he is a foe of the Batman. I think it would be pretty cool to at least, allude to like Batman's presence. If you don't actually have him on the screen, it would be kind of cool to like see a couple glimpses of him here and there and have them encounter each other a couple times over the series would be neat. I would be totally fine with that. I would love to see it set up some other villains too, but I don't even know who's like cast in the show, honestly.
I don't really know either, other than Colin Farrell. And it's going to be 8 episodes, so I got that right. Yeah, 8 episodes.
Nice. Okay.
Limited series. But yeah, I guess it'll just wet our whistle until we get the Batman, or until the Batman sequel. So that's great.
Nobody else I really recognize, honestly.
Character-wise. Good. I guess it should all be focused on Colin Farrell and his turn. Because what I liked, I liked him in the Batman. I wish there was more of him in it.
Well, here you go.
Well, there you go. Because I thought he was really good, but he just didn't have like a ton to do. But we kind of knew that was going to be the case. It was a huge ensemble cast, and like he wasn't there to steal the show by any means. But I thought he did a good job in the scenes that he did have, and he's so unrecognizable that it's great that you don't even like.
Oh yeah,
you can't even tell it's Colin Farrell.
Prosthetics and makeup on him. I'm sure filming this series was not easy to get ready like that every day for shooting. I'd be curious to hear him talk about that makeup process. He looks incredible though. He's giving a fantastic performance. I wouldn't be surprised if this is up for some serious television awards next year. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised either. But yeah, sometime late 2024, guys. No official date yet, but yeah, I'm guessing fall. Like it
would make sense. I will be checking this out. There's a lot of TV I don't make an effort to watch, but this will be one of the shows in 2024 I'll be watching, including House of the Dragon, which also had a couple trailers drop, but not on our list today.
It's not on our list, but I will comment on what I thought it was very, even though I've never watched that show, I thought it was very smart that they came out with kind of dueling trailers and kind of made like the audience kind of like pick a side basically, and how they were. I thought that was really cool because most companies most studios would not do that. Or
that's like a first that I've ever seen, and it's very in line with the story from season 1 because like you are very split as a viewer on which side to follow based on the events at the end of season 1. There's very much two sides that both think they're in the right, and they're warring. And I think the release of the 2 trailers showing each side is genius marketing.
And not to say that we have a dog in this fight, but on our TikTok page, the was it Black? I'm trying to because I don't watch the show.
Black and the Greens.
So that trailer got 1,858 views. The Green got 681. So you guys chose your side on our TikTok page.
Nice.
I thought was kind of interesting. I was like, wait, it got way more views than the other.
Look, I know you haven't seen Game of Thrones, right? But there's so far only 10 episodes out in the House of the Dragon series, and it
will that be lost?
What's that?
All right, will that be lost? Or like, do they connect to each other really? Or
So the House of the Dragon series that this season 2 is coming out of, it takes place like story wise 300 years before the events of Game of Thrones. So very much feels the same. It's the same. We're just seeing like the descendants of or like the ancestors rather of the main characters in Game of Thrones. So just a few generations prior, and it totally encapsulates the same feel, same production values, same quality of television. It's very much like being back in Game of Thrones. So it would be a great first foray into that universe if you were to check that show out, and I'm sure you would get addicted. It is fantastic television. It won the 2022 Emmy Golden Globe for best television series. Drama. Yeah, exactly. So and it has some weight behind it, some awards, and season 2 is looking to be incredible. So high on my list of anticipation this year for sure. But I'd love for you to check it out and see what you're in for. But I will try.
I'll try. I will try. I'll do my best. I promise.
Another trailer we just got to look at today. We just added it onto our docket. We got our first look at Yorgos Lanthimos' Kinds of Kindness, which he shot while his last movie, Poor Things, was in post-production. And it's a pretty brief trailer. It's got his usuals in it. We got another return from Emma Stone, Willem Dafoe. Looks like we got Jesse Plemons in this movie too. It was a pretty brief look, but what did you think of the first teaser?
I actually thought that teaser was good too. I think it sets up enough of like what it's gonna be without giving away too much. And I kept thinking when I was watching it, I was like, how smart of Searchlight, because like this is already in the can, right? They knew that this movie is complete, and then they could just ride that wave of like the awards attention that Poor Things got, and then carry that on into. I mean, giving this a June release is very confident. I mean, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, true.
I'm not saying like prestige artsy films have never been released during the summer, but like this is. I think it is a huge vote of confidence to release it in June and not hold it till like fall or winter. So either like, there's one or two things. Either it's not like kind of like awardsy like his other stuff, and that could be why it's in June, or, and I think this might be the case, they're just confident in how well it could do, piggybacking off of how well Poor Things did, and gave it a summer release based on that. And that's the vibe I got, and they probably are very happy they could do that. It was one of those things where it's like, damn, like, okay, well, there were whatever delays, whatever. He was able to do these 2 movies and have them both done, and we could release this one. It got all the way through award season. A very weird award season movie. Still
Yeah.
made some money too, and then now we could actually piggyback off that. And this is already ready. We don't have to hold it any longer. We can start teasing and promoting it like months in advance. So they have to be happy with how it played out.
Seems that way.
But yeah, I think it looks interesting. I didn't realize till today that it's like an anthology kind of movie, I guess, with like different stories, I guess.
And the same actors playing different characters in those stories, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. The thing I pulled up says following a man without a choice who tries to take control of his own life, a policeman who is alarmed that his wife, who was missing at sea, has returned and seems a different person, and a woman determined to find a specific someone with a special ability. There's a lot. It seems weird. His stuff's weird. Like I said, the most successful. I feel like the most successful movie he's made is The Favorite, and even that's kind of weird in its own way.
He's got a very, very particular style. He's a weird filmmaker, and I love all of his works.
But to get 2 of his movies, this close together, I think everyone should be happy that they're eating well this movie season. At least from him.
Yeah, definitely.
It's one of those things where it was a really short teaser, but I think it teased people enough that like his work to be like, oh, I'm all in on whatever this is. So I think that was good.
I'm with you. I'm trying to think of what I'll watch in anticipation for this. I don't know. Maybe The Favorite. I just saw Poor Things a couple months ago. I've seen The Killing of a Sacred Deer a couple times, but The Favorite I've just seen the one time. I haven't seen his debut movie though, Dogtooth. So that could be one.
Yeah, I haven't watched Killing of a Sacred Deer in a while, so that could be. I've seen The Favorite twice. Oddly enough, that doesn't seem like something I would watch twice, but I watched it with another friend who was surprised when they watched that, and then they watched Poor Things recently, and they were like, "Well, that was weird." I'm like, "Well, you have to watch his other stuff because it's usually
out there."
Even I thought The Favorite was kind of weird, but like I said, I guess it is the most like if he's gonna make it feels weird to say mainstream, but like it is his most like not like too like it won't scare you away.
Right. He's not a guy you'd associate as being mainstream, but of course, I'd say The Favorite is probably his most mainstream movie. And I did watch The Lobster a few months ago too, so not really due for a rewatch of that. But in any case, very excited for that next flick from him.
And it feels like he's either found, I don't know, like he's found his muse in Emma Stone, or she's found her like director, her Martin Scorsese as Leo has,
This is their third collab in a row. Yeah.
Like, good for. She must feel comfortable enough working with him, and
clearly,
wouldn't it be funny if he directed another? I'm not saying this is like gonna be an Oscar movie, but that'd be really funny.
Oh, if they keep working together, I'm sure he could do it. You said this is a June release, so do you know the actual day? I'm curious myself.
I think I got it. 1 second, I'm pulling it up right now. I think it is. I want to say June 20. Yep, June 21st.
Okay, nice.
That's in the middle of the. That's like, that's a vote of confidence, I think. But
I think you're on something. Seems like it. Yeah.
Doesn't seem like they're dumping it.
No.
All right. It's not up there. I wrote it at the bottom, but we have one more trailer.
Jeez, we got a lot of trailers.
It's for Bad Boys 4, which officially is now titled Bad Boys Ride or Die. I feel like they wasted that other title on that other movie, the third one, which could have been Bad Boys 4 Life. It would have been perfect instead of for the third one.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. I'm a sucker for the Bad Boys movies. I think they're fun. And I've always loved them. Like when Michael Bay did the first 2, when someone's like, "Hey, what's a good Michael Bay movie?" I always say Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2 are one of the 2 movies I bring up of his that I enjoy. This one kind of what I was thinking when I was watching the trailer. One, because these guys who directed it, and I don't want to butcher their names, I'm gonna pull up in a second. They were directing that Batgirl movie that got shelved.
Oh, it's them.
And I was like, if that Batgirl movie looks as kinetic and visceral as this at least looks, there was probably something good there to at least release and like give people a chance to watch. Like they seem to have a good eye for like action and all that. The vibe from the trailer, I'm getting more Bad Boys 2 vibes from this trailer, which is exciting because I actually like Bad Boys 2 a lot. There are some. It's definitely the funnier one. It's unnecessarily violent and it's pure Michael Bay. At his finest. He indulges in explosions and butts and and foul language.
It came out 8 years after the first one.
Bad Boys for Life.
Bad Boys 2.
No, the second one. Oh, Bad Boys 2. Yeah. Then the gap between 2 and 3 was huge. So like, and Bad Boys did well. Like, it did well enough where they were like, let's do a sequel. And I think Will Smith's star took off because Bad Boys was his first big movie, and then right after that, he did Independence Day and Men in Black. And I think that was a lot of the reason why it took so long. Martin Lawrence was not as busy, but he was also successful in his own right. He was doing some comedies that did well. There is a little something with watching these trailers, and I know they're making jokes out of this whole they used to do it with Lethal Weapon, especially with Martin Lawrence's character. The kind of like I'm too old for this shit kind of shtick, and that's they've been doing that with Martin Lawrence's character since Bad Boys 2, and it seems like they're still kind of poking fun at that a little bit here. I will say a very smart move on Will. I know he came out with Emancipation after the Oscar slap. But to have a mainstream movie be something that the audience is familiar, they're familiar with you in this.
Right.
I think that's a smart move to do something like this, to be like, hey, I think people have forgotten it by now anyway. But if you're gonna try to do another movie and get people
to
see your movie, I think this is was the best decision, was to like do a familiar franchise and do something that people love you in already. Because he is pretty. I mean, however you feel about him post slap, he's always been like a pretty likable performer and actor. So I don't know. I've seen the trailer get mostly positive reactions. Like I said, I teased it in the beginning. It's 3 minutes and 5 seconds. It's way too long.
Yeah, it is way too long.
And I don't think any trailer, no matter how good I thought the trailer was, should be that long. But the reactions to it have been pretty positive, and then even to Will Smith. So I mean, I don't know where you stand on Will Smith post smacking Chris Rock, or if you're like whatever. I'll still.
It didn't really impact what I think of him as a performer. I mean, I've never been like Will Smith's biggest fan by any means, but like the slap, I can separate him from his performances from that instant. So he looks like his regular old self in this. Didn't look like he's missing a beat at all. And honestly, I didn't look at who was directing this movie before I watched the trailer, and I wouldn't have been able. I would have just guessed this was Michael Bay stepping back into his old role.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
they did the last one too. Yeah, they did the last one too, and they did a good job, like carrying over his style a bit. And they are bringing back other people from the last movie too. Alexander Ludwig was in the last one. Vanessa Hudgens was in the last one too. She's back in this one as well. So I mean, I feel like they've got this whole like kind of thing with this, like if it's not broke, don't fix it. And it seems like they it's the same look, vibe, style comedy. I don't know. I think it's gonna be fun. It looks a lot. I can't believe it's actually coming out. So it's so funny because we've had like you said, there was like gap between 1 and 2, and then the gap between 2 and 3, and then this one is coming out relatively soon. Compared to like when the third one came out. The third one, I remember the most because it was one of the last few big movies in 2020 that came out before everything shut down. It came out in January, and it did really well. It is the highest grossing of the series so far.
Highest rated too.
And highest rated. It did really well critically too. It was funny because like the first one got bad reviews, the second one got really bad reviews, but they've always like commented on the chemistry between the two.
Right.
And that is what has always worked in the movie, is like Martin Lawrence and Will Smith really playing well off each other. Have you seen any of these other Bad Boys?
I have not seen either of them. Nope. Cam's big on the second one. He's brought it over a few times to decide if we're going to watch, because usually we'll just like pick over a few options and then decide on something. And I haven't gone for it yet, but I mean, I would. I've seen bits of it on like cable TV and looks entertaining enough, but never actually seen any of the three. And which is weird, but he does love the first two.
Yeah. I mean, they're fun. If anything, I would like go into thinking anything other than that. Like
right.
They are,
and I would really approach them that way. I feel that way, but yeah.
But and I want to say the first one's better, but the second one has like, it's not as feels we were calling it a film. It's like, okay, so the first one at least tries to be like a movie, and the second one is more like less plot, more just
explosions and
humor
and,
but there's like one, I won't reveal it here, but there's one really funny joke that people still quote a lot today, and you'll still see on like TikTok every now and then, and it's hilarious. It involves him and Martin Lawrence, Will Smith, and this guy that's trying to take out Martin Lawrence's daughter.
Where they appear, I think I know the scene where they show up at his house, right?
And it's so funny. Like and you can tell they just kind of are riffing and improvising, and that wasn't really like scripted.
Okay,
it's hilarious. So I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, and when's this come out?
I believe this comes out on June 7th. So
another June. Okay,
soon, another June.
This is gonna be a busy month because we got The Boys season 4, House of the Dragon is in June, and The Bear season 3 is also June. Yeah.
All right, now we got some actual news.
Yes. All right, what's first? Oh God, yes, I'm reading it right now. I saw this. I don't know where this came from, but Scarlett Johansson, for whatever reason, is in talks to join the newest Jurassic World sequel.
You sound like you're mad for her.
I'm like, this is what you're going to post MCU, like another big blockbuster franchise. Like, I love Scarlett Johansson. I'm not even really mad about it. I'm just like, it feels like so out of left field. Who's now doing the
Gareth Edwards, which is good. I mean, like good.
Yeah, that's a good pairing.
Here's what I thought about this again, because I feel like they keep dropping nuggets about this movie. Because like we've both been like, why? When they announced it, we were like, why are they making another one? And I know the last one made $1 billion, even though it was bad, so we know why. But I feel like they keep dropping little nuggets to be like, hey, get a little bit more excited. Because remember, it was like David Leitch was gonna like direct it at one point.
Yes, and that didn't last long.
And then he dropped out, and then they got Gareth Edwards, which is actually a good choice. I mean, he's no stranger to like doing movies like this. And I was like, it's still Jurassic Park, and I don't need another one. I'm fine. And then this was actually a rumor about her 2 weeks ago, and I guess officially she's in talks now. And that's another little nugget to be like, hey, if she's interested, maybe it might be decent. I mean, I guess she had like one meeting with them, and the meeting went well. And I know they keep every article they write about this movie, every development, it's always mentioned how they're fast tracking it though, because they had to make that July 2nd, 2025 release date. Because that's really soon for a movie like this. Because it takes, filming on this would probably take a while, and then post production is probably hell on a movie like this too.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't like the whole like rush factor of getting it out there. And it's interesting because she's no stranger to big movies. I mean, she was part of the MCU forever, and so she's no stranger to it. And she's one of those actors that can go back and forth for doing commercial movies and then doing like Jojo Rabbit or Marriage Story or something like that. Like her career's been that way for a while. So I'm not surprised that she would make a big movie like this, but it does feel weird that the big movie is Jurassic World.
I guess, that's more what I'm confused about, but we'll see. I don't hate it necessarily. I was just very caught off guard when I read that. I was like, wow.
Is there anyone they could cast in this that would make you go like, God, I want to see this now? Because every time there's like any new info about the movie, we're still like, still don't think it's necessary.
Geez, who could they throw into this movie that I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense? That would be sweet. I don't know. Maybe if I knew a little bit, if I had more of a nugget of info to see like what direction they were taking in, but I just have no idea who would be like a good. I don't know. And
unless they find a dude to co-lead with it, she'll be the first like female lead to lead one of these, because like all the other ones, Laura Dern and Sam Neill, and then Jeff Goldblum led the second one. Sam Neill led the third one. Right. Chris Pratt and Bradley Silas Howard led the other one. So if she's the main attraction of it, that's another, I guess, good thing for the franchise. It'll be the first like female lead of these movies. So there's that. And I actually like her. I mean, I think she's a great actress.
Me too. I think she's a great actress too. But it's kind of, I'd rather see her do some more like grounded like indie movie than like another big budgeted side like CGI.
But it did make me do like this Scooby-Doo like when I saw it. I was like, why is she doing this? But they probably dangled. I mean, I'm sure the script's fine, but I'm sure whatever paycheck they offered her is also great.
No doubt, exactly. I feel like that's kind of like the draw. They're like, okay, we need somebody that's gonna bring and put butts in seats for this movie, and I think that is what they were thinking. Because I doubt Scarlett Johansson approached them and said, "Yeah, put me in the new dinosaur movie," but who knows?
Yeah, I know. And that release date's fast approaching, July 2nd, 2025. I'm saying that for them because they need to start getting done to filming it.
We need. I'm sure we'll see more casting developments here soon.
Yeah.
But
The other interesting one, I guess, would be the Joker stuff, which we won't spend a lot of time on, but we all thought the Joker sequel is a musical, and
yes,
I guess we assume it'd be original songs, but they said someone who at least the first draft that they saw of the story that said that it was mostly a jukebox musical as it integrates at least 15 reinterpretations of very well-known
Jesus,
songs.
15.
15, yeah. One is said to be That's Entertainment from the 1953 musical The Bandwagon, famously associated with Judy Garland. So I'm assuming Lady Gaga gets that one. They said, that being said, there is a door open for an original song or two to be added in the final version. For those like we talked about this yesterday offline, but who people that don't know what jukebox musical are, it's basically if you see
Myself.
Moulin Rouge, if you see Moulin Rouge or Mamma Mia, it's when any musical takes like popular well-known songs, not original songs, and reinterprets them and integrates them into the plot. Like Mamma Mia is based solely on the music of ABBA, and that is how that musical comes together. And then Moulin Rouge was just its own unique beast that Baz Luhrmann and his team threw together, using Nirvana and Sting and a bunch of other songs that other artists that really cool stuff. Like they really do put really cool spins on the songs. I just thought that this was going to go the original song route, and
so did I. That took a lot of people by surprise, I think.
I was pretty surprised, and I don't really know how I feel about it yet. I still this news has been out since last Friday, and I still don't know how I feel. I mean, I think it's great that you have someone like Lady Gaga there, who is a musical genius in her own right, to kind of interpret all these songs, and that's great. I was just, I guess my mind was set on it being original music and not. And I feel like, and this is, hey, it's on them to make this really creative movie, and I still think it's an intriguing idea. I just dread the fanboy reaction to it being like a pure musical, and then being so mad that it's not what they want it to be. Especially fans that love that first movie, if they that are expecting that first movie, exactly that first movie, because they're not going to get that.
It's bold for them to go in this direction. And I don't blame people like that know in advance to be like, hey, that's not for me. If you know you are not in it for a musical, then fine. But I think it'll all come down to how they market this movie. And if they follow that trend of hiding that your movie is a musical, that will be, I think, a bad decision in this case. I think they should just let it out now and let people know in the trailers and the marketing that what people are getting in for, because otherwise I think people are going to sabotage this movie critically. And it won't be good. That's just my theory. So I hope they just kind of are upfront with it. I'm still not deterred. I think a musical route is definitely odd, definitely out of left field and a bold decision, but I'm not against it. I like musicals, but the jukebox musical, I will say, is I am a little bit more skeptical on that idea, that concept, but remains to be seen. And this is coming out when? Is this a fall release?
I believe so. I think it's October. I think close to when the original came out, but I'm
which was I think which is an October release too.
The release, yeah. This opens on October 4th. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so not too much longer of a wait. Another 6 months or so.
Right.
I know, just to piggyback on the Jurassic World or Jurassic movies casting, somebody that definitely won't be in that next dinosaur movie is Timothee Chalamet, because he just inked a deal with Warner Brothers to appear in how many of his next movies are going to be Warner Bros?
It's a first look deal, I believe. Let me see how much it says. It's a multi-year first look deal, so it's really there's no the details of the deal aren't out.
What's a first look deal?
So they have the first option on him, and he has to whatever he chooses to star in or produce or whatever it is, he has to do it with them. And unless there's some kind of out in his contract to let him go work on another studio movie, but they have the first option and for him it's to develop. He can be in franchise stuff for them. He can do original movies for them, but he is tied to them. It's very similar to what they used to do in old Hollywood, where they would sign someone to a 8-picture deal at one studio. But a little and this is the closest thing I think to saying that someone is, they believe, a bona fide movie star that they think can open movies. And yeah, I know we made that comment about the Dune cast as a whole, the young people in the cast. We said that they were the future of Hollywood, but Variety actually wrote an article about him specifically. And they said because of how well Wonka did and how well this Dune Part 2 did, that he is now a bankable star. Now, some people were like, they love him and they think he's a great actor, but they also thought it was too early to say that he's bankable in that sense because those two projects are IPs that people are familiar with. I mean, the Dune one is a stretch because like I know it's like based on a familiar IP, but it's not necessarily a IP that guarantees box office money.
No, not by any means.
I honestly think the Dune success, it is sci-fi people, but there's a reason they threw their entire young cast out there and had them promote it the way they promoted it because they were a selling point for a lot of people that went to go see it. I don't know how I feel. I was going to ask you how you felt about them saying that he is a bankable star based on because because before that Dune was his biggest movie, and then before Dune he was just in a bunch of smaller films that didn't really make a lot of money. So is it too early to call him a bankable star?
I mean, as someone who wrote that article, I would say like, yeah, there's certainly his last box office efforts. There's, precedent to suggest that because his last few movies and definitely like the two movie combo of Wonka and then Dune 2 seems to lean that way. Like it both was successful. They were both successful at the box office, but I agree with you that it's like those, there's other extenuating circumstances that have helped him in that. I still think that like it wouldn't be surprising to me to in years and years time for Timothee Chalamet to skyrocket to the top of the bankable A-listers list. I think he's got a long, illustrious career in front of him. But I do think that this is definitely early to be throwing out guarantees like that. But I don't think it's that far off from the truth. It's just like I would be putting. Let's see a little bit more from him before we really go. Say things too confidently like that. But I don't think it's like the wackiest thing ever. But definitely early.
Yeah, I think it's early too. And it's not a dig against his talent or anything. He's very talented, and I think he has the potential to be. But it's like he has. He would have to open something that's not an IP and have it make money for me. Like, all right, yeah, like Zendaya's about to have that with Challengers. If that does well, then that is okay. Then maybe her name alone can open a movie, and that's a test, like for someone in that. And because I think Hollywood's watching them specifically, that group, a little like
I think so
Florence
too.
Pugh, Austin Butler, like they're in their late 20s, early 30s. Like everyone's watching that group to see like are they our next batch of movie stars? And the way that movie stars look now is way different from when like Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise and Julia Roberts and all them were getting $20 million a movie. Like it's because they could ask for that because they were actually opening movies and having them make money.
Right.
I guess the new age movie star, these younger people, it's not just can you open our movie, it's like how much awareness of it is there of you out there too, like social media wise, like where are they seeing you at, like what fashion shows you go to. There's like all these other things that like that's tied to them being movie stars other than them actually booing and being in movies. But I think it's a good sign that Warner Brothers is like, hey, we want to stick with you and we don't want to let you go because our last two big hits were with you. So that's smart and good on him. And he must be confident in the fact that they're not just going to throw him in the franchises because he doesn't seem like a franchise person, even though he's undoing, even though his last two movies have been attached to an IP. But I like, he had that whole thing that he said Leonardo DiCaprio told him to like not do drugs and don't do like comic book movies. That was like that was the advice he gave him. And I don't see that he would necessarily want to do franchise stuff. I feel like he wants to develop his own things too. So maybe that's something they discussed and that's why he signed it. And he has a lot of time. He's like 27, 28. So he has got a long road ahead in Hollywood if he wants it.
If he wants it, for sure. And I think he's doing a great job at setting that up so far. But
yeah.
By
the way, I'm not leaning on him not being a bankable movie star. I think he can be. Like I think
for sure.
Certainly girls like him, guys seem to like him, like in the movies that he's in. Like he has like it, but just gotta see it outside of like a big IP first. Because like honestly, it's hard to forget that he was mostly in smaller movies before all this stuff. He wasn't like a box office draw at all.
No, he's kind of coming into that now.
Yeah.
But whatever he's in next, I'll be going to see him. I really love him as an actor and excited to see the road ahead for him for sure. But speaking of Austin Butler too, he just joined. He was cast in another movie upcoming. Darren Aronofsky, who's fresh off The Whale from a couple of years ago. And that movie's called Caught Stealing. It's the first I ever heard of it. The premise of that is a crime thriller. And it follows burnt-out ex-baseball player Hank Thompson, who unexpectedly finds himself embroiled in a dangerous struggle for survival amidst the criminal underbelly of 1990s New York City, which is a great period to focus your movie on, and forced to navigate a treacherous underworld he never imagined. So he is the only build star to it right now. And I'm not sure when they're aiming. It's in pre-production right now, so probably a couple years away.
And speaking of, we have another discussion about the future of Hollywood. He's in that group too.
Yeah,
I think it's funny. I think it's all funny. They all happen to be in Dune Part 2, but like he is part of that. I mean, since he got nominated for Elvis, he's just been on a roll since then. He did Masters of Air for Apple TV Plus, which broke records for their streaming service. He was just in Dune Part 2. And because of the delay, he'll be in the Bike Riders in June. So he has like a pretty big year already.
Very excited.
I saw that last year, and he's very good in it. So I mean, very good actor, and also seems like he's being very strategic about his roles and who he's working with, as they all should be. I feel like that whole group is being very smart about who they work with, and they're not just making like fluff.
Not just taking the first thing they're offered and making the movie out of that, but choosing who they're working with. Yeah.
Like Sydney Sweeney's not in this group with them, but she's also very smart because I didn't know that she produced that new horror movie Immaculate. And that movie came to her 10 years ago when she was a teenager, and she loved that script so much that she was like, hey, where did it go? Did it ever get made? She found it, and she financed the movie herself, chose the director to do it that she had worked with previously already. So she's also producing power moves on her own, and she's 26. So like this new breed of movie star is not just like, hey, just throw me in something and I'll be cute and handsome. Like they seem like they want to like actually, like I thought it was smart. She actually said, they asked her about Madame Web, and like the best thing she said was like, they're like, how do you feel about how it turned out, how it flopped? And she was like, that doing that movie allowed me to have a relationship with Sony Pictures, which allowed me to do Anyone But You, and that movie made a lot of money. So it was a strategic like business move on her part, and like that is. And even if that's not the reason, that's a smart answer to give. So like, good for her. I mean, like it's
definitely
that. Yeah. So like, I mean, Austin Butler, that sounds like a good combination with that director too. And it also sounds like something. I mean, it sounds something more accessible than the stuff he's made lately, Darren Aronofsky. So
yeah, true that. I think Austin Butler is a future Oscar winner. I think Darren Aronofsky could be the guy that directs him at least to a nomination again. So I definitely think there's something special in store for that pairing. I love them both. Cannot wait to see it. Caught Stealing whenever it comes out. It's very early. Like I said,
I want to throw a question at you real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Because Timothée Chalamet has been nominated before. Austin Butler has been nominated before. Who do you think between the two wins an Oscar first?
What was Timothée Chalamet's nomination for?
Call Me by Your Name.
He was nominated for supporting?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Or maybe I forgot if he was considered the lead or not in that. But yeah,
I didn't know that he was nominated for that movie. I haven't seen it. But I think they both are destined for, awards greatness. I think it's gonna go to Austin first. I think he's got more of I know he's more like the committed actor. He's got his infamous struggles with coming out of Elvis.
He's on the cusp. Yeah, he's on the cusp of method, which I guess I'm glad he dialed it. They said he dialed it back a bit on Dune Part 2, which is after.
Think of how even better he could have been. I'm glad. Full method, though. Like, he could have been a psycho.
I know, but can you imagine working with him on that?
Probably terrible.
If he was full method, Jesus.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually agree. I agree with you too. I think he is not hungrier for it, but it seems like his trajectory is like the way he's working. Seems like he wants it.
Yeah,
I think not that Timothy doesn't, but like.
No, for sure. But I think he's a more relaxed kind of guy, and Austin's out there like shooting for the stars. I think he's got it in him first, but I think that'd be a great bet to make between the two of them. It's a great comparison. But do you think differently, or do you know?
No, I go with Austin Butler. I mean, I think they're both super talented, but yeah, I think the way that Austin's moving, it seems like it'd be him.
Yeah. What else we got here?
I got well, this actually just happened today. And I don't know if you've ever seen A Simple Favor.
I have not.
But it's a movie that starred Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively and Henry Golding. It was actually one of Henry Golding's first. He did Crazy Rich Asians in August, and this came out in September of that year. It's a really fun movie. It got really good reviews when it came out, 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's based on a book, but it was marketed as like a kind of Gone Girl-esque, like missing woman kind of murder mystery. And the movie itself, in its third act, kind of like turns itself on its head, and it's something completely different. And it was really smart.
Okay.
And I didn't think it needed a sequel, but it's getting one officially. And Paul Feig directed it. You know, he directed Bridesmaids, Spy, the female Ghostbusters. And all of the central characters are coming back. Anna Kendrick, Blake Lively, Harry Golding, and the supporting cast are returning. It's going to be written by the same girl who wrote the original movie. Paul Feig is coming back to direct. And the sequel actually has a plot. It says in part 2, we see the return of Stephanie Smothers, played by Anna Kendrick, and Emily Nelson, played by Blake Lively, as they head to the beautiful island of Capri, Italy, for Emily's extravagant wedding to a rich Italian businessman. Along with the glamorous guests, expect murder and betrayal to RSVP for a wedding with more twists and turns than the road from the Marina Grande to the Capri town square. The original movie, Anna Kendrick played a vlogger, and she becomes kind of best friends with Emily, who's played by Blake Lively, who is like this elegant, kind of extravagant kind of person.
Okay.
And one day, Emily basically, as the title says, can you do me a simple favor? She wants to go pick up her kids from school, blah, blah, blah. And then Emily like disappears.
Okay.
And it becomes this whole thing about where did Emily go? And then you find out like Emily's past had a really strange, messed up past. It's an interesting, really, really well done kind of mystery movie, but then it kind of becomes like a really funny, clever, dark comedy towards the end too.
I was going to ask if it's a comedy, because that's IMDb has that as its first genre.
The last 20 minutes or so is when it turns into a really fun, like dark comedy where you're like, oh, I'm glad it wasn't just like another Gone Girl, like Girl on the Train kind of movie. It really turns into something else. The only thing that's annoying is that this is going to streaming. Amazon MGM Studios is releasing on streaming, and a lot of people online today were very confused because the first movie made $97 million worldwide on a $20 million budget, so it almost made 5 times its production budget. So they were like, why would you not release this in theaters? It could be something that changes later,
right?
If test scores are good and all that.
I hate that about streaming. Like, oh.
And it's no way that, like, everyone was like, oh, like 120 minutes, I think in the first day for 100, I forgot what it was for Roadhouse, but it was like the way they were breaking it down. They were like, what does that even mean? Is that successful for you guys? Or it's hard to gauge. It's hard to gauge.
That doesn't mean anything to us. Yeah.
Yeah. But I highly recommend A Simple Favor though. It's pretty fun, and like can't go wrong with Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick.
No, true. They're a great pair.
But if you watch the trailer and then you watch the movie, you're like, that is like something completely what you got is something completely.
Oddly,
totally
I'm on the IMDb page right now, and it does. I remember seeing the trailer back in the day, and I just never went on my way to see it. But I do recognize some imagery of it, and I at least remember what it was now. Never would have guessed it was a comedy. It does very much feel like Gone Girl / Girl on the Train style. So interesting. Yeah. It switches it up.
And they make for a very fun pairing too, because they're so different. Like Anna Kendrick is, she's Anna Kendrick. It's hard for her not to be like not herself. Like she's a good actress, but she relies on her personality a lot. She reminds me of like Sandra Bullock, where it's like, oh, you're likable because you're just you. And,
exactly.
But and Blake Lively is she's funny too, actually, in real life. She's really funny, but I think she knows that she looks a certain way and she plays elegant and all that a lot, and she kind of plays that to the hilt a bit. So they play off of their personalities really well in the movie. That's fun. It's fun. I think you'll like it.
For sure. I would definitely check it out if I come across it. Like Henry Golding too.
Yep.
All right. Brings us down. We got a couple more things to get by. Quickly, Golden Globes. I guess they signed. So they signed a 5-year deal to stay with CBS. Was it this year? Was it their first year?
Yeah, it was their first year. And I guess that shoots my like this should go the streaming thing in the foot. But yeah, they're gonna do 5 more years on CBS, and they're gonna also stream it on Paramount Plus. But they said the reason for that, this year's Golden Globes, 9.96 million viewers watched it. It was up 50% from last year's low on NBC, and the largest audience is 2020. So I mean, I guess that's why they are staying in business with them. And I think the longer, because the Hollywood Foreign Press that does the Golden Globes, they were in like bad blood with a lot of celebrities because of lack of diversity and like all this other stuff that was going on. And I think the more they show that the show is progressing and it's still viable, the more they can get maybe people that didn't want to go back this year, they'll probably go back next year.
I see.
And now that it has a home that's solid, that helps too, I think. But yeah, but I still think these shows should be streaming.
I completely agree with you. I think that'd be awesome. So much more accessible, but oh well, there's nothing to say that the other award shows won't go that route. Just I guess the Globes won't for the next 5 or so years. But
yeah. And to be fair, like most of these award shows were up year to year. Like the Oscars were up, even if it was just a little bit. They were up this year. I think the Grammys were up. That's music, but they were up this year. So I mean, I guess there's no reason for them to ditch networks, but it just feels like, that's where the audience would go to it more if they were exclusively on streaming, I think. Right. And I guess this last thing, I have not seen Love Lies Bleeding yet, but everyone loves Katie O'Brien chick that's in it, and she just got cast in Mission Impossible 8. Judging from the trailer, she is a physical specimen. So she looks like she can more than hold her own against.
She's actually a former, not like a powerlifting champ, but like she has competed in like weightlifting competitions before.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, so that's all comes by her, honestly. Yeah.
So like a lot of people are very excited for her having this. I mean, I guess she had been in like stuff before, like she was on The Mandalorian and like a few other things, but it seems like this is her breakout.
Yeah,
this is like her breakout year, I guess. And she was in oh my god, I do remember her from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. She's one of the better parts now that I remember who she was. Yeah, she was in that too.
Okay,
but Love Lies Bleeding has gotten really good reviews.
I can't wait.
From critics. I have a friend that didn't like it, but he doesn't really like A24 stuff in general. I don't even know why he still goes to see their movies.
Looks awesome. I can't wait to see it. But for whatever reason, it's been playing here in our theaters, but only in 2 different time slots. It was like 4 p.m. when I'm still at work and 10 p.m. So like kind of making it hard to nothing. Like that might change like next week or something. But I definitely want to check it out while it's in theaters. And Late Night with the Devil isn't playing in my local theater either. So kind of annoying right now. The 2 movies I really want to see that are out aren't playing at opportune times, but I really hope I get the chance to see Love Lies Bleeding because that looks great. But excited to see her in Mission Impossible 8. When is that slated for? Do you remember off the top of your head?
I think it's next year.
Next year, yeah. Okay, I thought so.
But like, good for her. I mean, like, someone said that Tom Cruise, like on a break, saw Love Lies Bleeding. It was like, we need that girl. Like, just get past her right now, because they're filming it right now. I mean, but I know sometimes with like casting, like they'll know they're cast someone and they won't like reveal it for a while. So it's possible that she got cast a while ago, or I don't know. Like it could have been like a new thing too. But she's having quite the year.
Definitely.
I mean, getting involved.
Her star is rising for sure.
And she'll get to beat up a fast-paced running Tom Cruise, maybe. I don't know. Unless she's on the team.
Unless she's on the team, I guess we'll see.
Yeah. She seems like they make her like a villain. Like that. Yeah. What was that in the last one? The chick from Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm like forgetting her name, but she was in the last Mission Impossible, and like she didn't really have like a lot of lines, but she was actually really oh God, who's she playing the last one?
Who is she in Garrett? The one, I know you're talking about.
So she's Mantis in the Guardians movie.
Oh, Palm Clementif.
Yeah. She had a fun role in the last.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I don't know what my brain went to the one like the co-female lead. That wasn't Rebecca Ferguson. That's who I thought you meant. I was like, who is she in Guardians?
Maybe something similar to that.
That'd be kind of cool.
But yeah, good for her, and everyone's really excited for her. So I wish I had seen Love Lies. It's not really playing anywhere close to me. It is here in LA. Okay. But people that live in LA, when I say not close, it's like an hour away. So I don't.
Fair enough. No,
I'm not trying to drive an hour out to go see a movie unless I had to desperately.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, we'll see it eventually, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we got box office.
I've been kind of dreading this movie, honestly.
Well, first of all, we both tied on Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire. because I stole your
Oh,
answer.
okay. Oh, that's right. And so yeah, no doubt we were going to tie regardless. But how close did we come?
45 million on the nose.
Did we? Is that what we both guessed?
We both guessed 45.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice. Go
yep,
us.
on the
That's a win for
on
both
the
of us.
dot.
Are you keeping
This
our
just
score?
indicates. I thought you were, but
I haven't. I switched up my journal
here.
here, so I don't have it, but
No,
I'll tally it up next time.
Oh yeah, I can look it up, but I think you're beating me still. I don't even know that when we were tied, do we both get a point, or is it just like a wash?
Ooh, depends. I guess we didn't really plan on that. I think we can both get a point. Why not?
All right,
Positive.
Fine. I think you're still winning though.
Yeah. I got
way.
a little bit of a lead, but that could change in the matter of a few weeks. So we'll see.
And all this shows me with Ghostbusters is like it barely made like it was so close to Afterlife that it's like whoever likes this goes to see it.
Right.
I think they should kind of put this to bed because I think it's gonna have a big drop next week because it didn't really get like a great cinema score, and then like the reviews 43% rotten on Rotten Tomatoes, which is not great.
No.
Immaculate. It was crazy for Immaculate. $5.3 million opening weekend is the highest opening weekend for Neon in their company history. So
wow.
And I guess it just shows how small that studio, independent studio
I
is.
never would have guessed it was that small. I knew they were independent, but geez.
But good for them.
Well, if it's relevant to the budget, that's good.
And Dune Part 2 still going strong. 233.3 million so far domestic and 577.4 million worldwide. I think this is going to tap out around like 7-8ish.
Yeah, I don't think
it's not getting to $1 billion.
No, but the franchise as a whole has crossed $1 billion at the global box office.
Yes, it has
between the first two, so that's good.
Yes, so now we have to predict Godzilla X Kong. My brother wants me to see this movie with him on Thursday so bad.
Are you gonna go?
I don't want to, but I feel like I'd be a bad brother if I didn't go.
So somebody made an interesting pitch that in the market that is now open for like cinematic universes in the absence of like the top tier MCU, that the Godzilla verse is like vying for the throne, and I kind of see that kind of being the case. I'm like, I don't know, like this is what the 4th or 5th in this series. I don't really know where these are going. None of them seem to be great. I've only seen Skull Island in these. I haven't even seen the 2014 Godzilla, which I actually would see. But this looks like
the one that he's barely in.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like it's fine. It's not a bad movie, but it's
for sure.
And now Gareth Edwards did that movie too. So
and I love Gareth Edwards. But this seems like rock bottom. Like nothing about this movie entices me.
I hate the marketing, and some people love it. Some people love the marketing. So I hate the whole like buddy cop marketing.
This is complete eye roll to me. Then the forced comedy thrown in there. Is it Brian Tyree Henry? Is he in this?
Yeah, he was in the last one.
A lot of his lines from the trailers, I'm just like, come give me a break, man. Like what ugh. And the mini Kongs and stuff, and him getting a fucking Infinity Gauntlet glove. That might be from like that. Now, granted, that might be from like other source material, but like translating it to the film and the big screen, I'm just like, that just comes across so silly. I know it's a big monster movie, but like still, like you can make, as Tojo Studios recently, reiterated, you can make great big monster movies, and for such a significantly less budget, like with -1. But yeah.
By the way, in case you're wondering, Jackson's not gonna go see it.
No, hell no. I'm staying away from this one. I can't wait to see the reactions from. I think there are some early reactions that it's fun and stuff, but like I just took those with a grain of salt. I just don't buy it.
Yeah. So,
but what's it tracking at?
The tracking is 50 to 55. If you want to use, so the last one's hard to use as a comparison. It was Godzilla versus Kong, but it came out. It was one of the first movies to come out during the whole COVID as movie theaters were reopening.
Okay, so that's kind of hard.
It had a $48 million opening despite that, though. But if you want to go further, 2014's Godzilla opened to 93.1 million. Kong Skull Island 61 million. That was the opening for that. By the way, Godzilla X Kong cost 135 million to make before its fucking marketing.
Okay, that actually kind of reined, like that's less than
I did rein it in
spending on this.
But then when you realize that that minus one movie was made for $15 million.
Yeah, still over, but no doubt this is a big expensive CGI monster movie. So I'm actually surprised it's not like a 200 plus budget. So, good on them, I suppose. My initial thoughts are low. Again, maybe it's my own personal bias getting in the way, but I just don't see, and I don't want this movie to be the next big thing. I guess
you want it to fail.
I'm like, I don't know. I want to do just enough that it's like, okay, we're done now. Because the last thing I want is to go into the late 2020s and still talk about this.
That's how I feel about Ghost. That's how I feel about Ghost.
Yeah, that too. Same idea. You know how I'm feeling then.
Yeah.
But I guess I'll come in at just under 50, and I'm gonna go with a 48 as my prediction.
All right, so you're matching Godzilla versus Kong. All right.
Yeah. What do you think? You have high hopes?
I don't, but part of me, it's like, will people that like Godzilla -1 be like, oh, I want more Godzilla? I know most people know it's different, but
this is American Godzilla. That's just not as good.
Yeah, that's true. I'll go high. I'll go 55.
Okay, keep things interesting. I like that. That's a $7 million gap. That's our biggest gap in a while.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so this will have a clear winner next week. No tying, no wash, no equal point.
But I will say, outside of Doom Part 2, and there have been some little movies that I've enjoyed, but 2024 so far has been dreadful.
Yeah, it's not on a hot start, is it? There's still lots of good stuff coming out, but so far, first quarter of the year's over by the time this video is probably coming out. And it's not been fantastic, has it?
Nope.
I've only seen 3 movies in theaters. I'm actually going to look at my list right now.
I should be excited for some of these. I'm just like, nah. Wasn't excited for Ghostbusters. Not excited for this.
Oh my God. I've only seen 3 movies in theaters. I mean, 4. I've seen Dune 2 twice, but.
I saw Imaginary.
Oh, you poor thing. And actually, only 2 of those movies I've seen were from this year. I saw Ferrari early January from last year, so I guess I've seen Night Swim and Dune in theaters so far.
Yeah, it's been a rough.
There's some good stuff out now though, like Love Lies Bleeding. No doubt, I'm sure is good. Late Night with the Devil, I'm really excited for.
Immaculate. There's
I'd go see it too. If I get the time to. I'd go see it.
I got reviews too. But big movies we should be excited for. It's been that's been kind of not that great, but. Well,
second half of the year looks good though.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's time for you to send us off.
God, what episode number is this? Oh, well, the time this come out, it will be 163.
Really, I believe. I think that's the number in my head, but I think it kind of depends on what comes out first. But yeah,
based on scheduling, this has been episode 163. Back to the Blockbuster, a very full news show full of trailers and news items. So I hope you enjoyed them, and I hope we went through everything that you were hoping that we would go through. As always, thank you guys for listening. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, but we have to support our podcast network, which is Playlists, and you need to download their Playlist Studio app, which you can find in the iOS store or the Google Play Store as well. Be sure to check out more of us out very soon on YouTube. We're going to be having more of our stuff there. I was actually told today that our backlog of episodes was just uploaded onto YouTube.
Exciting.
Not all the way from the start, guys. Just the last few, right. Cruel Intentions, all those kind of ones.
Okay, good stuff
that we just recently did. And then our we're going to be posting some reels and stuff on there soon. We're going to be paying a lot more attention to that as well, on top of the audio show.
It's another place you guys can listen to us.
Yes, and our RSS feed is attached to our YouTube channel as well. So if you listen to us there, it does count as a listen for the show. So wherever you listen, it's good for us. So thank you guys so much for however you choose to support us. I guess nothing on the pipeline coming soon. We are going to be figuring out what our April anniversaries are after this. Actually, we're trying to figure out which ones we want to do, and I think I have the 2 that I think I want to do, and then whatever Jackson wants to do, and then we're going to choose some for you guys to choose from again, because you did so well in March and you gave us a fun one to do for Dawn of the Dead. So
yes.
Look out for that. As always, I've been Gaius. He's been Jackson. Take care, guys. Stay safe. Have a good Easter weekend.
Yeah, enjoy your Easter with your families, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right. Peace out.